welcome back to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. Today I'm with Jeroen Thijssen, who is the head researcher for Dutch and German football for Football Manager. What better than to get the guy himself who makes up the stats for the players that you want from the game. Jeroen, what do you do for Football Manager and what do you know about the Dutch Eredivisie?
Hey everybody, hallo allemaal. Thank you for having me, Michael. My name is Jeroen Thijssen. I am the head of Dutch and head of German research for Football Manager, which is one of the best-selling games on the PC, which is coming up with a new release, Football Manager 2023, on the 8th of November. It's going to be on PC. As well as on several consoles. I'm responsible for the Dutch and then German research, and really simply said, myself and my team of assistants and people that are helping me, we make up the numbers.
Football Manager is so classic. We're talking about 2023. In this edition, we did some content before on this on the website and on YouTube about the best players to get. So who are the Dutch Eredivisie Wonderkids of 2023?
Well, we have quite a set of talented players. I think Dutch football is doing quite well.
It's in a good place, isn't it?
It's in a good place. Looking at how the teams are performing, and as well traditionally, the youth setup is very important. We have definitely a few really good current batch of players which are ready for a next step, either this season or the next.
Xavi Simons is doing so well at PSV this season. Kenneth Taylor's breaking through at Ajax. There must be those big ones, if you're one of the best teams in the game. These are the guys that are going to be up there with the world-class players.
Absolutely, yes. Xavi Simons has impressed me very, very much. We didn't really rate him that highly in FM22. He was talented, he was okay, but he's just been really, really good. So Kenneth Taylor and Xavi Simons are two of the main ones. And you've got, me mention a few more, Noni Madueke at PSV, Divine Wrench and Brian Brobby at Ajax. They're already slowly turning into household names, maybe really. And then you've got Johan Bakayoko, also at PSV. And one that I'm particularly fond of as well is one at AZ. It's current Hungarian international Milos Kerkes, who's doing an amazing job. And yeah, he's ready for a step up. Next season, I can see him make a move as well next to the other players that we've been mentioning.
Yeah, those names I think are familiar to people that know the Dutch Eredivisie, that watch our content here in Football-Oranje. They know those Eredivisie household names now, even though they're so young. It's a league that's full of young talent. So I guess could we hear some of those names that people maybe don't know? What kind of positions do we have coming through in amongst the Dutch Eredivisie teams? And who are those players that people can unearth in the game? Maybe if they're a decent side in Italy or in England, who can they pick up on the cheap that are really young and are going to make some big money in future?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's what you can
That's
aim
what the
for.
game's all about.
Yeah. But that's also how the football league is working a little bit. You've got the Dutch teams producing the talent, and you've got the big teams who've got the money, and yeah, that's how it works. I'm excited to say that Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, and also AZ, all four of them have a very interesting young, talented players. So any team that you're going to control, be it a top Premier League team, be it a Serie A side, be it a big German side, you're gonna want to have a look at those teams and at the younger players as well to see which ones you might be willing to pick up. It does depend on the team that you have and which players you have. I mean, if you have 10 fantastic strikers, then you might not need the 11th one, but a bunch of them are definitely worth looking into. Let me mention a few because that's what you want to hear. The one highest rated young talent in the Eredivisie Dutch football is David Kaloko at Ajax. Very versatile attacking player, can play all midfield positions, even up front. He's going to be fantastic. There's always a few players where you're like, I think so, but I'm not sure. I'm sure about David Kaloko. He will be fantastic.
So is anyone else at Ajax that's going to come through?
Yeah. Looking at Ajax, for example, it's not the easiest name. Amoricho van Axel Dongen is one that's definitely to mention. Stanis Muzambo.
Fitzjim's coming through too, isn't he?
Fitzjim is doing really well. And if you're looking at even younger, then you've got guys like Ryan Bonida, Yoro Hato, and Sky Fink, who are definitely all interesting players to look at. And it doesn't end there, and it doesn't end there for Ajax, doesn't end there for other teams. Karim Damane at Feyenoord is a very interesting player. He's establishing himself very well. Same thing for Jaden Slory, who's a very interesting winger at Feyenoord. PSV's got its talent. I personally like Jensen Silt very much. He's not the absolute biggest talent, but I think he's just got everything right. He's not going to be Virgil van Dijk level, but he's going to be good. Maybe one or two more at PSV. Jason van Duiven is very interesting as a striker. And then one other player that I like to mention is for AZ, a very talented goalkeeper. He's just signed a new contract, extending his deal, so it's not in game because it happened a couple of days ago. But so we won't have that, unfortunately. So you might still be able to get him for cheap, which is Rome Jaden Owusu Oduro, and I do hope I said that correctly. He's a very interesting goalkeeper.
Great. So those are some names at the top of the league. Is anyone else lower down the Eredivisie for those players of the game who love unearthing that talent at Excelsior or picking up that young Scandinavian chap at Heerenveen or Groningen, wherever it is?
Yep.
Tell us about some of those players a bit further down the league.
Yep, I think Groningen have managed another one. They had Jurgen Strand Larsen before. He moved on, and I think they found a very suitable replacement in Ricardo Pepi.
Right.
He needed to get going a little bit, but he's looking good. And I think he's value for money as well. And yeah, he's in one of those teams. He's a good player, but Groningen will not be asking 50 million pounds or euros for a player. So that's the type of team that you could be looking at. Like, hey, can I get a player that is not too expensive? And he could be a very good shout. There's a few more at Vitesse, Sparta, Ekese, but they're all loan players, so that might be a bit more of a challenge. But
so how about the Keukenkampioen-divisie, the second Dutch league, the Eredivisie, as it's otherwise known?
Yep.
There are three players for you that stand out in that league. Then, also for those three players, what kind of team would you be wanting to be to pick up these players? Because not everyone watching this is playing as Man City or Real Madrid. There are people that love playing the game in those lower leagues. Who can you pick up from the Dutch second tier?
Yeah. So obviously it's a second tier, so the level is a bit lower. So you're not going to find super fantastic players. But if you're let's say if you're a championship team in England, then it's definitely worth a look. So, for example, a couple of the good ones are Emil Hansson at Heracles, Thijs Oosting at Willem II, Jasper Dalhaus at Eindhoven is an interesting one. And despite the team's performance, I say that begrudgingly, Doraso Klas at ADO Den Haag is also an interesting pickup. Those are all 20, 21, 22-year-old players that, that definitely still have the foundation to grow.
Nice. I'm sure the people playing the game will love hearing those names, as they always do when they watch these Football-Oranje videos or the articles on the website of who these wonder kids are from the game for Football Manager 2023. So thanks, Jeroen, for doing that.
several new features that are again in the game, as we do each year. There are some revamps or improvements, and then there are some added features. We've improved the data hub, and the scouting's had an overhaul. There's a lot more one-on-one interaction with your backroom staff, with your players. And something that is quite nice is that we also have a UEFA license, so you will actually see all the graphics and the music and the cups and all that stuff, which comes with the Champions League and also the other Euro leagues set at the level below. And all the graphics and all the colors and all the schemes are in there, which is quite nice, I think.
Very exciting. Another edition of Football Manager to look forward to. So hopefully people can buy the game and can enjoy our Football-Oranje Dutch football content. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Find us on Twitter, on our website, and of course our YouTube. Thanks, Jeroen, for joining me, and thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you for having me.